New torch in for testing today. It's the AngryFox E6 or Playfox, and this comes in quite an extensive kit, and I've put everything laid out on the table for you, but I will show you how you attach and mount the system. It's a little bit different to most torches, even though the torch itself is actually fairly similar to others. It's part of their sports set, which includes a few different models. Looking at the torch, you have a bit of knurling on the body, albeit in one direction, and notice that tab at the bottom. That is a metal attachment, so you can snap it onto the buckle. We'll have a look at that a bit later on. Unscrew the base cap, which is magnetic, and you get a rechargeable CR123A cell included. Now the reflector on this is quite shallow, so I'm expecting a fairly wide beam pattern, but it is smooth. We'll do some beam shots later on. Operation is very similar to the Olight torches, single press on and off, push and hold to change power levels, and a multi-press, double press for the strobe. Doesn't have a lockout on this torch, but the button is fairly stiff. If you push and hold, you will then enter into the moonlight mode, and you do have a mode memory on the normal power settings. This is a supplied filter and diffuser, so you can pick the colours. The only problem I can see with that is that they stick out when you're not using them. We'll take off the cap and you can just use the filter for the specific colour that you want. 2 spare O-rings supplied, and this is the metal buckle. It has a locking mechanism, so the idea is that you snap the torch into that. You will need to attach the silicone band that's included, the thick one. You might want to position it around. That provides some friction and stops it moving around on the mount. I personally would have included a second one or put some silicone on the mount itself. It would have just made it a bit easier. This is the bike mount. And the wrist strap, just put the buckle over the edges. This would be something which might appeal to people that do late night running, or possibly if you're working and you need to have a torch on your hand. Attaching it to the head strap is a little bit fiddly, but you can get there. Just push them under the flaps there, and you can position this in a couple of different ways. It's a bit different from most headlamps. This is a picture on the side, so you can adjust the angle up and down, and on the top again you can rotate it left and right and position it forward or back. You'll have to take that off generally to do that, because it can be a bit fiddly to try and attach that when it's already on your head. Just running over the manual now quickly just to show you the power outputs. So we have fairly standard power outputs on this, 4 power levels and a strobe mode. The manual's actually fairly decent. The only thing that I would say is I'm surprised AngryFox didn't include a charger with this set. Onto the clip, this has a Rattlesnake design as they call it, and the idea of that is the bent around section, you can attach something to it, put it on a line, and it will give you a different angle, a lower down angle than positioning it normally. I've compared it to the On the Road M3, which is a similar torch, so it's a bit smaller. And the beam pattern, quite a wide spread on this, but it does have a bit more concentration in the middle, which is what you'd expect with a smooth reflector. Quick look at the moonlight mode. Nice low output on that. I'm pretty happy to see that included. That's something the M3 didn't have. Now I'm doing my standard beam shots, about 100 foot on the E6. You'll notice that the tint on this is a bit warmer, not something that bothers me, but it's down to personal taste. And On the Road M3, you have a couple of extra power levels with it On the Road. And moving up to the top setting, you'll notice the beam pattern spreads out a bit more evenly thanks to the textured reflector. Not a huge difference between these two in terms of their actual power output. And I'm on to the wide angle test. And then take it up to the top setting. There's a bit of a jump there between medium and high. You see good power output, nice wide spread. And I'm comparing it now E6, then onto the On the Road M3. You can see that the M3 diffuses the light a bit more evenly. You have less of a hot spot in the middle. They're both quite wide. I'd say the M3 has a touch more power, but there isn't a big difference between these two. Personally prefer the textured reflector, but it's not much of a big deal as far as a torch like this goes. On to the tele test. Slightly more range with this. That's one upside to the smooth reflector, and this is a beam pattern up close. Onto the strobe mode, just the one strobe included with this torch. Couple of thoughts on the Playfox E6. They are really pushing the mounting system with this torch, and it helps make this model stand out a bit more compared to the many smaller torches that are out there. On the torch itself, it's actually perfectly decent, good power output, quite happy with the interface. They've also got that Rattlesnake clip, which is okay, it works fairly well. I didn't have issues with it, and it could make the torch a little bit more useful, particularly if you're hanging it up. So the option to mount to a bike and a head strap or the wrist strap might be something which will appeal to people, and I think it's a worthwhile idea. Would have liked an extra silicone band included, which would have helped the stability when it's mounted to the buckle. You can also attach that to a belt as well. And the main downer for me would be the lack of a charger, which is a slightly odd move. I really think they need to include one of those in the pack because most buyers won't have one. Other than that, though, I actually quite like the package. If they can refine it a little bit more, I think they have quite a nice product here. So don't forget to check out some of my other torch reviews, and I will catch up with you very shortly in my next video.